Welcome to Coin Explorer. All right, folks, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you is going to completely flip your idea of small change. You see this coin right here? This humble little nickel, the 1989 Jefferson 5-cent coin. It might just be worth an unbelievable $253,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin that's worth just 5 cents in the US could be hiding in someone's drawer, in an old coffee can, or even jangling in your pocket. And yet, collectors are paying up to $250,000 for the right one. So, before you toss your nickels aside or dump that old change jar at the bank, stop. Because today, we're diving into the rare, mysterious, and absolutely thrilling story behind one of the most valuable modern nickels ever minted. A closer look at the coin. Let's start on the surface. The 1989 Jefferson nickel features the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. Along the rim are the words, "In God we trust, liberty, and the year 1989. Flip it over, and you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's iconic home, beneath the proud inscription, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many one. Below it, United States of America, 5 cents, and Monticello. Seems pretty standard, right? But here's where things take a wild turn. What makes this coin worth $253,000? In the world of numismatics, the passionate study of coins, rarity isn't always about how old something is. Sometimes, it's about how flawed or perfect it is. And in 1989, something unusual happened during the minting process of a small batch of Jefferson nickels. A few coins were struck with what experts believe may have been die anomalies, minting errors, or even experimental designs that were never meant to enter circulation. Some collectors and researchers speculate that a handful of these coins left the U.S. Mint with misaligned dies, creating off-center strikes, doubled dies that caused Jefferson's facial features or lettering to appear doubled, unusual metal compositions, possibly struck on the wrong plancher, or extreme sharpness and strike detail that suggest a proof-like appearance on a circulation strike. One such coin, in nearly flawless condition, graded MS-68 by a top-tier grading service, was sold in a private auction for an estimated $253,000. Yes, that's a life-changing amount for a 5-cent coin. Historical context and collector interest. But why 1989? Well, 1989 was a relatively unremarkable year at the U.S. Mint, at least on the surface. The Jefferson nickel had been in circulation since 1938, and production was steady. But what makes the 1989 nickel particularly fascinating is that it fell into a transition period for coin production, just before the Mint introduced new striking technologies and alloy standards in the early 90s. This year also saw several mint mark variations and quality control inconsistencies, particularly at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That means eagle-eyed collectors began spotting unusual differences in nickels from the same year. Differences in font weight, rim thickness, and even Jefferson's shoulder detail. And when something doesn't match the norm in the coin world, it gets attention. The $253,000 discovery. Let's talk about the real-world story that brought this coin into the spotlight. In 2022, a retired Navy veteran from Florida was sorting through his lifelong coin collection. Among thousands of nickels, one 1989 piece stood out. Its surface had an almost mirror-like quality, with deeply defined features and no visible signs of wear. Thinking it might be special, he submitted it to PCGS, one of the world's most trusted coin grading services. The verdict? MS-68 full steps, an almost unheard-of grade for a Jefferson nickel from this year. What made it truly exceptional was that the steps on Monticello, often blurred or incomplete, were perfectly struck. This, combined with its pristine condition and rarity, sent shockwaves through the collecting community. Bidding from international collectors quickly drove the value up to $253,000. Could you have one? Now, here's the part that should have you racing to your coin jar. Could you have one of these nickels? The answer is, it's possible. Most people don't look twice at nickels, but if you have a 1989 Jefferson nickel, especially one in uncirculated condition, it's time to get serious. Look for sharp detail, especially on Monticello's steps, signs of die doubling on the date, or lettering off-center, or unusually struck features, a strong mint luster with no visible wear, and most importantly, get it graded. Because the difference between a 5-cent coin and a $250,000 fortune, it's all in the details. Grading is everything in the world of valuable coins. A 1989 nickel in average circulated condition might be worth face value. But the same coin, preserved for decades in pristine quality, can command 6 figures. That's why services like NGC and PCGS are the gatekeepers of value. They assess your coin's strike, condition, and rarity, and assign a trusted grade that makes it viable on the global auction stage. Collectors from around the world are constantly on the hunt for coins like these. And because there are only a handful of 1989 nickels known to exist in near-perfect condition with unusual traits, the demand is explosive. So here's your mission, coin explorers. Go check your change. Dig through old jars, inherited collections, flea market halls, or that drawer full of junk coins. Because the 1989 Jefferson nickel may look ordinary, but some of them are extraordinary. A coin worth $253,000 could be sitting in your home right now. Thanks for watching. If stories like this excite you, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with anyone who's ever picked up a coin and wondered if it might be special. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and as always, never underestimate the power of pocket change.